everybody, welcome to GGS Railways. My name is Greg, this is my YouTube channel. Alright, tonight we are going to do some shenanigans. Actually, we're going to talk about the making of shenanigans. So this is going to be the making of the July 4th video. The kind of behind the scenes things, some of the things that happened. And we're going to talk about every single thing that we have here in the camera field of view, and even some things that are not in here because frankly everything wouldn't fit in here. The G-scale wouldn't fit in here, and a couple of the other things. So anyway, we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about what's not on the table first. Okay, so the video opens up with this beautiful, I mean gorgeous 1950s era Lionel Santa Fe ABA set, dual motors. I mean this is it. You're a child in the 50s, this is what you wanted for Christmas. So alright, so behind him is some patriotic type cars. I think there's some Desert Storm cars there and some others. Of course you have a helicopter car and a submarine car and a car with a tank, a crane, and then a utilitarian type, construction type caboose on the end, because I figured that was kind of cool looking. That would be a tie-in to our kind of military theme. So that's the way the video starts. And then I didn't start the Amtrak behind him just because I wanted to focus on that first, because we are talking about, you know, the elements of the actual video. So then behind him, and I'm going to go ahead and turn him off, is the Amtrak set. And I think Amtrak, although, you know, no American flags or anything, it does have red and blue and some very, very significant nods to American history. So I thought he would be cool to show. So alright, so that's how the video opens. Alright, so what were some of the challenges to the opening scene here? I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, right? Well, not quite. The 1950s Lionel Santa Fe ABA is a power hog. It consumes a lot of electricity. It's dual motor, and it's from the 50s. There's nothing power efficient about it, and it's running on fast track. And if you think about the way that fast track is constructed, it's not designed to carry or provide that much load, and so we had to really be careful, because the first problem was that the Santa Fe diesel, until he gets warmed up, he did not want to run slow on that fast track, just because, you know, he wasn't conducting quite enough electricity or quite enough volume of electricity to run him. And the second problem we had is that the fast track actually got hot enough that it was wanting to melt. So alright, yes, that was the challenge with that scene. Alright, and then in the background we see the G-scale starting, and he's adorned with flags, and he's got the circus car behind him, then a car that we actually made. Alright, so this is a close-up of the patriotic car that we made out of the Christmas car. You may have seen that video where we just simply did a insert to convert it from Christmas to 4th of July. It worked out pretty well, I think. And then, of course, you know, we got the sign that says fireworks, then we got the red, white, and blue load that kind of looks like maybe it's fireworks, I don't know. Okay, so the challenges to this portion of the video were not numerous, but they were significant. Now, you might notice that there is a blue wire here that actually doesn't go there. And that's because that this coupler and this coupler are too short to let the passenger car make the radius, so we kind of had to wire them together. The way that this works in our normal layout is that there's a second passenger car that's got the same kind of coupler, and then he's got a different coupler on the other end, which makes it work better with the other locomotive. But because the other locomotive was orange, I figured that the Santa Fe locomotive fit better with our July 4th theme. So there you go. So of course the result was that we had the Santa Fe locomotive, which red, gray, and we got the passenger car, which is red, then the car that we made, which is white, and then blue caboose. So red, white, and blue. Very cool. Alright, so next let's talk about what is on this table, and then we will move to the next table and so on. And as I talk about this stuff, I think we'll move it off the table so we have more room to, to talk and explore things. So I'm just going to move this guy over. So alright, one of the things that you may have noticed, one of my pride and joy moments, was I was able to incorporate the American Flyer Royal Blue into the video, you know, blue, red, white, and blue. So yeah, this guy does not get to see a whole lot of runtime because he's pretty mini, and I like him quite a lot, and I'd like him to stay nice. So we don't use him a lot, so he just kind of comes out for special occasions, and I would definitely say that July 4th was a special occasion. So, all right, so we had blue the challenge was then to do the red and the white. So then I did this guy here, which is just simply a red gondola. And I put some red, white, and blue, I guess, I don't know what you call these, sparkles. And anyway, if you're worried or wondering about, you know, how did I get these in here, they kind of look like they're glued, don't they? Actually, but anyway, no. What I did is I just built up some tissue paper, and as you can see, that is simply just an insert. Uh-oh. So yeah, no damage to the car whatsoever, nothing. It just simply sits in there. So all right, that's that. So, and then of course, then you know we still had to. I lost the sparkle. We still had to have the white. So I took the worst caboose that I had, and I've actually had this since my childhood, and I'm just here to tell you it has been very much abused. It's had a lot of accidents. It's had a lot of things happen to it. I may have even stepped on it once or twice, but anyway. So anyway, I took the red caboose and I painted it white, and I adorned it with some gold, and you know, I put American flag stickers all over it. Now my initial thought when I did the stickers was, wow, that's too many stickers, but you know what, in the video they look awesome. So yeah, all right, so let's move on to the next thing. All right, next we had the blue marks that we bought that was identical to my very first marks train. Somebody took this and repainted it blue. And of course, the obvious thing to do is to find white and red. So we have red, white, and blue. And you see where I put the flags on it here. What you may not can notice is that there's some little holes that are built in here. They're not actually designed for flags, but they're just stuck in there. There's nothing special about that. So now that July 4th is over, we can actually take those out. But anyway, that's the locomotive. Quite nice. And to compliment him, we did the white tank car. You may have seen the video where we painted this and put the stickers on it. Once again, I thought when I did the stickers that it might be too much, but now that we've done the video, I can say that no, that's perfect. You know. All right. So and then of course the caboose, which is red, adorning it with some gold, and once again, kind of the same story. Now on Mark's 10 toys, I kind of have the feeling that they kind of look like toys to start with, so you don't have to worry a whole lot about, you know, making them look more toyish. So the accents and the flags, once again, I thought it was a little over the top when I did it, but worked out really well. So what were the challenges with this particular addition to our video? Well, the only challenge with the Marks locomotives is that they run slow when you start them, and as they warm up, they speed up. And so we had a real problem with keeping this guy slow enough that he didn't fling things off the track. But other than that, he worked flawlessly and no complaints. So let's move on to the next thing. All right, and then next we have this guy here. It's also by Marks, and once again, these flags are just stuck in here. We're going to go ahead and take them out. We don't want the wood to damage anything or whatever. So all right, yes. So the challenge with this guy was that none of these cars actually go together. So yes, got several different kinds of couplers, and yeah, it goes together very interestingly. So made this car here with some little things that I found at, I believe it's Hobby Lobby. Got some flags with the incorrect number of stars, by the way. And and yeah, so a little red, white, and blue fillers here. So I thought that was kind of nice. And then once again, the challenge is that none of these cars match. Now, you might notice that this is the same blue as the last Marks that I showed you. This is actually the caboose that came with that guy that somebody painted very, very nicely. And he's kind of tied together with a, what do you call this? A pipe cleaner. So yes. All right, let's see, challenges. What were the challenges? Well, of course, keeping everything together was a challenge because once again, the couplers don't match. And once again, because this is Marks, we had a problem with regulating the speed. We really had to keep an eye on this guy and the other one at the same time, which with that many trains is kind of a challenge. So, all right, moving on. All right, so if you pay attention to the video closely, you'll see that this guy is in the video for exactly one round, for one circle of the track, and then it changes to a Disney locomotive, which we'll talk about in a minute. So the reason for that will become evident here in a minute. So once again, we got the American flags attached. I simply used a very small, I mean as small as I could get it, piece of hot glue to get this on here, and I don't really suggest that, guys, but it does come off completely if you are willing to be careful and use, once again, the smallest little bit that you can get. So yeah. All right. Here we go. Perfect. None the worse for wear. Once again, I don't suggest that. So, all right, let's get on to the next thing. All right, so as I alluded to just a moment ago, the last locomotive only made one lap, and there was a good reason for that. And then it got switched to the Disney locomotive. So, all right, once again, I just used a little, the smallest possible microscopic dab of hot glue I could get. And once again, it does come right off, none the worse for wear. Once again, I don't recommend it. So, all right, so let's talk about hot glue for a minute. So, hot glue, you can either get like hot glue, and then you can get like the lower temperature hot glue. I use the lower temperature hot glue because I figured that would not damage the paint, and sure enough, it did not. So, all right, so that guy would have been followed in that segment by this guy here, which is a, let's see, what does it say? Chattanooga Industrial Railroad. The only reason I use it is because it's red, white, and blue. So I thought that was very cool. It's just kind of ironic that it was red, white, and blue, but I like it. So, all right, so that was followed by this car here, which is basically an aquarium car, but it's a 4th of July car where, you have the 4th of July parade going by. And this is the reason why we use the Mickey Mouse train instead of the one that I showed prior to that, because the Mickey Mouse train is Lion Chief, which means that you can have full power to the track and then control the speed through the Lion Chief remote. And yeah, I'll show that right here. So, all right, so the problem is that with the other locomotive, the power is through the normal track power, and so the light on the aquarium car, the parade car here, if you will, was too dim to see it. So with the Mickey Mouse train, we could turn the power all the way up. He'd be nice and brightly illuminated. So that is why the trains switch. That is why you see one make a lap, and then all of a sudden it's the Mickey Mouse train. That is why. So, all right, this is one of the last minute things that we got. As a matter of fact, on the shipping information, it said it could have been here July 5th, so I'm awfully happy that it was not, because otherwise it would have had to been in next year's video. So, all right, one of the other last minute acquisitions was this guy here, and this is a State of Maine car. You've probably seen this car before, but once again, red, white, and blue, very patriotic, very nice, very large car. I did not realize that this was quite this large when I got it, but it sure looks sharp there on the track. All right, so then on that segment, the thing that followed next was this autoloader, and my reasoning between that was because it's kind of sort of red, white, and blue, and American cars, American July 4th. So yeah, that was my reasoning, take it or leave it, right? So, and then last but not least, we have one of two of the Spirit of 1776 Lionel set cabooses that we have, and we'll talk about that set here in a minute. But anyway, yeah, I have two, so this is one of two. All right, let's move on to the next thing. All right, and here we have arguably the star of the show. This is the Spirit of 1776 Lionel set. It's actually the complete set plus some, and I'll explain that in just a minute. So we got the locomotive. He is quite sharp. Now, if you have the set and you're thinking to yourself, gosh, I don't have the dummy. Well, there's a reason for that. This is actually was once upon a time this, and apparently somebody's powered unit went bad, and so they put the shell on a GP9 chassis. If you look at the handrail, it's obvious that this actually does not go on this, but it looks pretty nice, and it gives me a dummy. So yeah. So one of the challenges with this set and is that because it's not really a dummy, these couplers don't exactly ride correctly, and every once in a while the powered unit will get loose from the rest and come and collide with them, and yeah, we might even have some evidence to show you of that. Yeah, we don't like to wreck our trains, but it does happen occasionally, especially on this guy, so you really gotta watch it. And once again, with that many trains running, you are subject to have that happen. So all right, let's talk about what the cars are that come with this Spirit of 1776 set, and we'll do that next. Alright, so these are the cars that go with the Spirit of 1776 Lionel set. And it is my understanding that it's not terribly common to see all these cars together. I feel fortunate to have the entire set. So the way that these cars work, these are the 13 original colonies of the United States. And the cars are numbered, and they're numbered in order that the states were admitted to the Union. So yes, that's very, very nice. These are actually in pretty minty condition, even though we have, like I said earlier, had a couple of collisions. And then to end the pack, we have this very, very nice Spirit of 1776 caboose, and painted red, white, and blue. And he's in fact a lighted porthole caboose, so he's extra nice. And like I said, I have two of these. And the reason I have two of these is because the dummy came with the came with a caboose. So yeah, very, very cool. Let's move on to the next thing. All right, and then we had this little Santa Fe, and of course we had the flags right here, and they were on there with the lower temperature hot glue. Works pretty good. Once again, I don't necessarily suggest that, but for this guy, it was okay. So all right, then after that we had a searchlight car, because I thought that was kind of patriotic with the generator and all. And then we had the Lionel fire car, which I thought was kind of patriotic, you know, fire truck, fire car, or whatever. And then we have this guy here that I kind of, I was trying to get away, this guy here that I kind of made. I mean, I didn't make this, obviously. This came from Hobby Lobby. I thought it was pretty cute, and I thought he'd look good in this little gondola. Now, if you're wondering if he is permanently attached or if I just ruined my gondola, well, no. It's just a little insert, and that's kind of the way I do my Christmas cars too, just in case anybody was ever wondering about that. So we got that guy, and then this guy here. These guys are actually salt and pepper shakers, and they are also from Hobby Lobby. And these are hot glued to the car. Once again, they would probably come off there and not be of any damage to the car, but I kind of like them, so I'm going to leave them on there. Pretty cool. Of course, the flag and these stars and stuff can come out if I so please, once again, because they're just stuck in the holes for the salt and pepper shaker. And then of course just a traditional caboose just to round it all off. So all right, we are about done with the stuff here. Let's get on to the next thing. All right, so this was our standard gauge offering for the July 4th video. Once again, I put the flags on the front. Now, believe it or not, I believe that these guys right here on the front of this are actually designed to be flag holders. I believe that's what those are. And I just did a very, very small drop of hot glue, and these are just sitting in there, so they should come right out, not a problem. And yeah, so actually kind of made them to where you could probably put them back even. So all right, so the challenge with this guy was that because he's kind of big and well, you know, standard gauge obviously, and he makes wide turns, the the bicentennial, the 1776 bicentennial train, the Lionel that we just showed, makes also very wide turns, and so you cannot run this guy and the 1776 train at the same time, or else they will collide. So anytime you see this guy running, you will not see the 1776 in the video running, and vice versa. So all right, that was the standard gauge offering, and that was the challenge associated with it. So all right, let's move on to the next thing, and this is a little bit different. All right, we're going to call this portion of the video Missed Opportunities. So one of the very first things that I acquired last year after I realized that I didn't have any red, white, and blue locomotives was these two guys, and then for some inexplicable reason, I forgot to run them. I forgot to include them in our July 4th video this year, so they will be ready and willing to go next year. So yeah, and I have this HO scale State of Maine car, the red, white, and blue, like the O scale one I showed you. Now this isn't a very good car, and he probably wouldn't have run anyway, but we could have set him off to the side or something. But anyway, next year. All right, let's talk about some of the logistical in the room type issues. Let's do that. All right, before we start talking about some of the challenges in the room here, some of the logistical things that we ran across in our room here, let's talk about some of the overarching challenges that we had. Now, I hesitated even including this part in this video because it is a bit controversial, and I'll explain what I mean by that here in a minute. Now, I'm going to encourage you to not tune out in a few minutes before I fully explain myself, because when I start talking about what I'm going to talk about, you're going to think that I'm going to go one way, and really I'm not. I'm going a totally different way. So all right, let's talk about something, and this is it. So on YouTube, one of the things that you never ever do, one of the things that you never ever do is talk about money, okay? So I made the mistake of, I believe it was in a community post, or it may have even been during a live stream, saying that this was going to be one of the most expensive videos I ever made, and that's a fact. That it is, in fact, the most expensive video I ever made. Now, the unintended consequence of that was that a sponsor contacted me, and they wanted to sponsor the video, and that's on first thoughts, that's very flattering, right? That's somebody has faith in you, and they want to sponsor your video. So we went on and we talked back and forth for a little bit, and so I had a bit of a moral dilemma. The product that they wanted to sponsor, there's nothing wrong with the product, but it doesn't fit model trains, okay? And it is a bit controversial, and I just thought, we have families that watch these videos together, right? Your mom, kids, dad, whatever. There are certain things that I try to avoid on this channel. One of those things is, anything that relates to any kind of religion or money. We just broke that rule, right? Or, politics, or, any of those things that kind of divide us. And this was kind of one of those things where, some folks have some really strong opinions and emotions, and I just decided that wasn't worth doing. Now, fortunately, I'm really good at talking to people, and we left on good terms. We don't have any animosity or anything towards each other, but that is one of the things that happens. So while we're talking about this, and once again, this is really taboo to talk about, let's talk about the video itself and how it performed. All right, so let's talk about why a sponsor might be interested in a July 4th video. And perhaps it's obvious to you, but anything that has to do with patriotism, or even model trains, because it's nostalgia, right? Sponsors are very interested in that because it evokes emotion, it makes you want to do something, take action, spend some money maybe. So that's why a sponsor might be interested. So the video wound up doing, I think, just under 66,000 views to date and climbing. And so yeah, the sponsor was right to be interested in that. Now, would it have done better with the sponsor? Worse? I don't know. But I guess we'll never know. But I just decided that it wasn't worth it. So just to continue the kind of the taboo part of the conversation here. So there is this myth. There is this myth that, you're going to start this YouTube channel and you're going to make all this money. So I'm just going to debunk that myth right now. You'll see all these videos on YouTube where, they'll show you, this is what I made, and they show you some astronomical number. Well, I don't know what those people are doing, but here's what I earned for just under 66,000 views. So yeah, it's not about the money. For me, it's about sharing the experience and the model trains, and how I feel with you guys. It's simply about sharing the experience. There's no monetary thing to it at all. So all right, that was one of the challenges, was weighing whether I could see my video being sponsored by something that I didn't particularly think fit our little world, okay? Fit our little family. Our family is growing very fast. We're joining, people are joining every day. And I just don't want to mess that up, okay? To me, the feeling, the happiness, the camaraderie, that's worth way more. Way more than anything a sponsor might have to offer. So all right, let's talk about the actual challenges in the room. All right, so let's talk about some of the logistical things that we had going on here in the room, and some of the things that we overcame, and some of the things that didn't quite work out like we had originally planned, but it still turned out okay. It was still a pretty good video, I think. So all right, so one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to run the MTH locomotive and pull the parade car and some other cars behind it that lit up and did some things. And the problem with that was that I do not own the the MTH remote to make the track to where it's full power and then adjust the speed otherwise through the MTH controls. So I had to change it after one lap on the video, and it still looked nice. I mean, it looked great. I doubt that anybody even noticed, but the Mickey Mouse train, I was able to run it with the Lion Chief remote, and so the full power was going to the track. So the parade car was able to be fully illuminated, and you could see it go around. It looked really nice. It was really cool. So that was one of the logistical things. One of the second logistical things about that scenario is I was kind of counting on the MTH to smoke, and if you own a MTH locomotive, that they smoke prolifically. It will easily fill this entire room with smoke, and I kind of was hoping that it would be able to do that for the 4th of July video, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. So alright, let's talk about some of the other logistical issues. So one of the main logistical issues was my vision for the video. I wanted it to be kind of like a fireworks and July 4th experience, and for the finale I wanted the Star Spangled Banner to be playing, bombs bursting in there and have the smoke and kind of the effect, and well that's a pretty big vision, isn't it? Alright, so then the challenge was fireworks. How do you make fireworks indoors? So my initial thought was to buy what is called a cold spark machine, and well, there's a couple of reasons why I didn't do that. First off, and the primary reason was because I could never figure out if that makes like some sort of debris. If you've seen a cold spark machine, I'll throw up a picture here. You've probably seen them at like weddings and stuff, parties, whatever. But I didn't know if it would like stain my cars or if it made some sort of residue that would get on the track, and I don't know. I never could figure that out. And as it turns out, well, the pricing that was represented on on eBay was not exactly, well, I won't say it wasn't truthful, but it wasn't, by the time you got done, you spent about 4 times the money is really what it worked out to be. So, all right, so plan 2, option 2, plan B, however you want to say it. I thought, well, we can probably kind of mimic the fireworks with maybe some lasers, and so, all right, I don't know anything about lasers. So I hopped on Amazon and looked at a bunch of things, and it's starting to get late enough that I need to worry about I need to get this stuff, I need to test it, and I need to make sure it's going to work. So I wound up settling for one that actually, I actually picked the right one. I think it's pretty nice. I'll show you here in a minute. But yeah, it kind of created the fireworks thing, and I was happy with it. I think it mimicked the fireworks pretty well. So all right, we talked about the MTH and the smoke that I wanted to fill the room. So all right, so for the finale of the video, if you haven't seen the video, go watch it now. But we're gonna have a Star Spangled Banner playing, and we're gonna have the room filled with smoke, and the fireworks, bombs bursting in there, the Star Spangled Banner, if you're familiar with that. And yeah, because my MTH wouldn't get full power to run around the track, it didn't smoke as prolifically as I needed it to fill the room with smoke, so I had to buy a fog machine. So I mean that worked really, really well, and this is what that looks like. All right, so in order to do the fog, because the fog was a very dramatic effect that I wanted for the very ending, with the flag waving and the smoke and the the Star Spangled Banner playing. I mean, I really had this planned out in my head, guys. I really did. So all right, so the MTH not going to work for the smoke, so we bought this guy right here, and he has LED lights, and you can make it to where they go from one color to another, and and they also red or blue or any other color pretty much. And anyway, so we incorporated this into the video, but the thing we liked most about it, or the thing I liked most about it, was the amount of fog it puts out and the rapidness of it. So all right, let's check this out. Watch. Yep, that's pretty prolific, guys. So one of the things that I had not planned on is that in order for this to be smoky in here, it almost has to fill the entire this portion of the house up, which is quite large. But it does it very, very rapidly. This is kind of a a stage one. So yeah, it works very, very well, and you can see it gets very, very foggy in here very, very fast. What you can't see is that my entire house is not foggy. So all right, that was one of the challenges and how we overcame it. So yeah. All right, let's move on to how we did the fireworks, and that's probably a little more of what you might expect to some degree. So anyway, let's check that out. Okay, so one of the major challenges that we overcame was that this American flag here almost didn't arrive on time. So I bought it on eBay, and I kind of bought it at the last minute. I just thought, that'd be the grand finale. That'd be well worth, whatever it costs to get this. This is by MTH. It is a waving American flag. It's not waving, like it would wave if you press the button right now. I've got a fan on, and actually it waves pretty well, just like that. And then when you press the button, it waves like furiously. One of the challenges we had with this is that sometimes it wants to curl around the wrong way. But anyway, that's what it looks like when you press the button. And yeah, that's what you saw at the end of the thing. So one of the other challenges that we had is that this this light that we have that makes the fireworks effect. In order to record the video and have the lights be in sync with the audio, is we need to record the video live. Now the problem with that is that then when you go to make the video, you have to overlay it with the actual soundtrack so that the sounds like it's supposed to. And my timing got off, and I had to actually wind up muting the the one that we recorded and just playing the other. So if you'll notice, the timing is off on the thing. This is what it should have looked like. And of course, the fog was going and all that good stuff. So in the video where the fog rolls in and it talks about bombs bursting in air, I just thought that was that was totally worth the price of admission. Hope you guys agreed on that. But anyway, yeah, that was one of the other challenges we had, is we almost didn't get the flag in time. It said it could have arrived here as late as July 5th, and of course, for a July 4th video, that's too late. So all right, we lucked out on that guy. But I mean, I think you guys can agree that this was well worth the money. Just so awesome. All right, so yeah, that's one of the other challenges that we had. All right, so one of the other challenges that we face is when it gets this foggy, this boogie in here, especially with the lights out. And because the room is so full of stuff, it gets very, very difficult to navigate this room. So yeah, that was was one of the other challenges, was moving the camera and doing the shots and not stepping on anything. So yeah, that was definitely a challenge. All right, so and the main challenge to the video is actually the same challenge to every video that we do, where we run everything at the same time. It's very, very difficult to monitor everything at the same time. And of course, these train tracks are not tied down to anything. They're just laying on the floor, so they do move around. So, having having a 3-minute segment or whatever without a crash or whatever is very, very rare. So when you see those 3 and 4 minute segments, just know that probably hours worth of filming went into that. I think we did one of the live streams where we showed the filming, and that was just a very, very small part of that video. And I think we did that for 2 hours that night. So yeah, it's just it's a lot of work, but it sure is fun, and it sure is worth it. All right, guys, well, I hope you have enjoyed kind of the behind the scenes making of the video and some of the things that we did. I sure enjoyed showing you guys, and I definitely enjoyed doing it. Now, what we're going to do for next year, I don't really know. It might be a little difficult to top this, but I bet we can do something, right? So, all right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you watching, and I think we're going to call this about it for now. GGS Railways out.